Hey, what's up guys? Just wanted to do a quick video, give you an update on my 1/16 scale rock bouncer toy grade to hobby grade conversion project. So I started in January. Really come a long way and have done several phases of modifications to the vehicle, so just wanted to kind of run through, give you an update. So here I'm going to show you, this is the stock vehicle, which is an Amazon RC rock crawler that runs for about 30 bucks, and comes like this, and this is the fully modified latest and greatest version that you can see here, where I've come a long way with it. So as far as upgrades, modifications, phase one is I basically ripped out all the electronics and everything, and got a servo and ripped out the stock steering mechanism here, which really isn't a servo. It's we took that out, we put in a servo. And as far as the servo that I put into this, it's the AGFRC servo from Amazon, micro servo. It's this little red guy here, and I can't say enough about how durable this servo has been for me. I'm actually on my third servo, but even so, just how much punishment I've put the vehicle through, the durability and the just the function of the servo has been fantastic. I really like it. Yeah, I mean, it's if you just, without a servo saver, you know, just putting it through so much punishment and just rough terrain, I mean, they hold up pretty darn well. So I definitely wanted to put in a plug-in for that and just tell you about that little guy here, AGFRC micro servo from Amazon. I think they're like 18, 19 bucks. Took out the electronics, put in a transmitter receiver FlySky system with the FS GT2B transmitter, and then the little tiny receiver thing, got that in there, and so that was like step one, converting it to hobby grade. And then down the road, I went ahead and upgraded the shocks. Comes with these spring friction shocks, and I really wanted oil-filled, you know, shocks with the dampening and such, and was able to find those and get those on. These are Latrax brand shocks available on Amazon and AMain, and I think they're for like Traxxas, a couple Traxxas 1/18 scale vehicles, but they fit just perfectly. It's the same exact size as the stock ones, and we're able to make these work on here and to get some really good shock absorption dampening. That was sort of phase two, get those shocks on there, and I got videos showing that. Phase three, been wanting to get into 3D printing for a long time, and finally got my 3D printer, and I've just been going to town on having a lot of fun and designing and printing things. And so what I did is I wanted some softer tires, was able to find these Banggood tires that I think they make for the Fei brand RC cars, these little guys here, and it's definitely a softer compound. This is the stock, and this is the Fei ones. You can see it's just softer, a softer compound. They're a little, just a tad bit shorter, but they're wider, softer compound. Fortunately, the wheels that came with is a 5mm hex, and what I need is a 7mm hex. So I designed and 3D printed my own custom wheels here, and you can see there's a mock-up of one in white with that design, and so that's what's on my vehicle now. These 3D printed wheels, check them out. If you're interested in the file on those, you know, send me an email or a message, and they've been working out really great, and they look pretty awesome too. They were great, and also put tire foams in these tires. So a combination of the tire foams, just made them out of some foam that I had lying around, some pretty good foam, and cut them, you know, to kind of a donut shape that fits inside here, and it actually is really nice. You can see there, squishing those, how it pretty nice. And then of course treating the tires with WD-40 is quite helpful, as well as kind of softening it up. Every time I clean the vehicle, I clean it with WD-40. Thanks to Shen RC for that recommendation on its cleaning techniques. So that's phase three, getting these tires and wheels on there. And so part of my phase 4 modifications is I wanted to modify the suspension to be able to be more of a rock bouncer design, you know, as far as handling higher speeds over rough terrain. And so basically to make the to bring these shocks out more vertically, and what that does is as the suspension articulates, it maintains you know, the same plane vertically or horizontally, and so it doesn't turn. You know, these stock crawlers, you know, the way that's when the shocks are at an angle like this, as compression occurs, it increases the angle of the axle, and so you actually turn. So it becomes a little harder to control as you're going through terrain, and the shocks are compressing left and right, and it sort of turns left and right as you're going over the terrain. It's just harder to control. So that's one of the benefits of having more vertical shocks here, more of what you see on modern rock bouncers. And so I just wanted to kind of go over that. And how I did that, it was actually designed and 3D printed this this piece here, which is, I call it a chassis adapter, which I designed and 3D printed, and you can see that how that allows the shocks to be mounted in the position that I wanted here, and it attaches with some small bolts to the stock chassis here on the sides. And it's been working out just wonderfully. Super pleased with how it's been working out. You can see how it articulates here, and everything's nice and stiff now. Fortunately, when I did those upgrades, I started seeing more and more play in the suspension. There's an inherent problem with the stock design. You can see it's pretty stiff when it's not under compression, but when the suspension's under compression, you can see it goes left and right. Because of the way the linkages are, it's basically like a little plastic links with ball ends that go into these round sockets, and which leads me to the phase 4 modification. So I wanted to fix that problem, and basically designed my own links, and found these little link ends on Amazon. These little guys here, they're with 2mm. You can see that. You can get those on Amazon with 2mm you know, holes on them, and so I used 2mm threaded stainless steel rods and a couple of these, and I had to modify the plastic axle housings and carve in some little slots and put steel pins to hold them into place. And it's pretty complicated, but I was determined, and it ended up working out fantastic. I was really super stoked. I was able to get these custom links in. It's basically 3 links per side here, and after I got those in, I still had the problem going with the left and right play, you know, the horizontal movement on the suspension. And so I ended up 3D printing a center link ball end, not ball end, but link end adapter for the center links on this. And you can see that there, that go in the chassis to stiffen it up to only allow vertical movement and no left to right, where it goes in. Ended up working fantastic. That combined with also changing the shock mounts, the upper shock mounts from the ball end to just screwing it in, keeping it stiff. And what that's done is it's tightened up, and it articulates fine and great, but it doesn't go left to right. It's stiff, and it also doesn't rotate that way like it used to because of the cheap toy grade links that we've now changed. So that's basically phase 4, and my most recent videos testing out all the upgrades. It's just really been happy with the results and just amazed at the capability of this little guy here all the way through. And I've got the point now where I don't really plan any additional upgrades. The really only downside of the vehicle is the play in the front wheels, because of the drivetrain in the front. On the front end, it uses a really loose dog bone sort of setup and drive cups, and it's very loose. This is super worn and probably needs new ones, new drive cups, which I have. I can put in. You can see the stock version. It's a little bit tighter, but still loose there. So that's really only the downside. I don't really plan on trying to fix that because I think it'd be too hard to get like universal joints in there. and it performs great. I don't think it really is too much of a detriment to performance. But I want to also talk about just some of the inherent features which has made this such an awesome, vehicle and good project for me. Is the stock unit. There's some characteristics that are just really make it work as far as durability. If you watch the videos, you'll see how durable the punishment that these things take and don't break is amazing, and it continues to be true even with all the upgrades. And so, the reasons it's the build. There's some aspects of the front end here with the way the steering is, the steering linkage and tie rod here. Are the way they're protected. It's actually surrounded by plastic here and has like a protective case over it, is one of the key things. Also, the plastics are really good. Haven't had any breakage. The screws haven't had any stripped screws. There's lots and being able to take these apart over and over and put them back together, and nothing is stripped out. And so that's a really good point as far as durability goes. And then also having the motor and axle design. I know it's not legal for competition crawling and such, but it's really good as far as the power to weight ratio that you get with that, and it definitely plays into how well of a performer it is going over rough terrain and over obstacles. Having the two motors, but just the way that it's structured. Is just been amazing durability with it overall. So anyways, guys, hey, that's the update for now. I really appreciate you watching. I do my channel mainly for my own entertainment. I recently changed my channels up, so I have a separate channel for RC cars, and I really don't have any viewers. So if you are interested in what I'm doing, appreciate your subscription. And thanks a lot for watching, guys.